Now this treehouse is incredible. It has a working fridge, it has running water, and it even has a working oven. I can tell you that the apartments behind me are completely empty. Students were supposed to move in a month ago and they've still been paying rent, which is more than $2,000 per bedroom. Not only is it a health risk, but it's a security risk too. If you just throw away a computer like this, you're throwing away a battery, you're throwing away all these precious metals and these wires, but you're also throwing away your hard drive. During the early stages of Russia's invasion into Ukraine, Max and Julia Voloshin had to turn their art gallery in Kyiv into a bomb shelter. But after more than a year of it being closed and with the help of their friends and colleagues still in Ukraine, they were finally able to reopen it. Open access to people's apartments. They've been going in whenever they want and leaving the doors open for the entire day. Next, some students have actually had to flee the apartments to go back to hotels due to the dire conditions. Well, as for the future of the Voloshin Gallery here in Miami, Max and Julia tell me they've signed a 9-year lease for this building, so they are not going anywhere. Live from Miami for UMTV, I'm Harvey Duplock. Thanks guys, I'm here at the City Hall of Palmetto Bay and we got cars lining up behind me here because this is a drive-through. It's not your typical drive-through though, because instead of waiting for food, they're waiting to recycle. Artificial intelligence has taken over a lot of aspects of our lives, including in the art world. As Ainsley Vetter explains, many artists disagree on whether the software is a helpful tool or if it is the demise of creativity. When the Richter Library announced a change in its hours weeks ago, it outraged many students. Now those students have been heard. We will bring you an update on the story when we come back. More than 4,000 dead, at least 15,000 injured, and some 1.5 million civilians displaced after 12 days of war between Israel and the Palestinian militant group Hamas. The nation's largest healthcare strike has entered its second day. On Wednesday, 75,000 Kaiser Permanente employees walked out on one of the largest not-for-profit health providers in the US and will not return until Saturday. Former President Donald Trump took the stand in a New York courtroom to testify against Michael Cohen, his former attorney, but it has not been a smooth trial. In Alapata, Miami, lies an art gallery owned and operated by a couple from Ukraine who used war to inspire art.
And this is about wars in general, not only about Ukrainian war, about wars in the world. And how do they usually end in?
Max and Julia Voloshin left Ukraine in late 2021, and when the war with Russia broke out in early 2022, they stayed in Miami. And 2 years later, after they left their home, on October 7th, 2023, the same day Hamas attacked Israel, they opened their Miami art gallery, the Voloshin Gallery, with its debut exhibition, No Grey Zones.
This is a political show, and we feel also that in Miami is not a lot of political shows, and we want to also bring something different to Miami.
They hope the exhibition will allow the people of Miami to reflect on the horrors of war and instead be inspired to spread the message of world peace, but also learn more about European art.
Art from Eastern Europe not very well represented here in this region, and our idea is to bring Eastern European artists and to have dialogue between Eastern European artists, American artists and Latin American artists.
Their current exhibition ends on November 25th with another one planned to open in early December. Harvey Duplock, UMTV. Sabrina Greenberg is a junior at the University of Miami, and instead of living in her brand new apartment at the Cloisters Miami, she's living in a single room at Thesis Hotel Miami.
Living in a hotel is obviously not what we're paying for. We're paying for an apartment with a whole kitchen.
Residents of the Cloisters Miami, which is an apartment complex and the adjacent lot of townhomes, have been paying rent since August 18th, even though the apartments are still under construction.
I was planning on going down to Miami August 17th so I could be there on the 18th ready for move-in.
And even though Sabrina was ready to move in, the apartments were not. Residents were told move-in had been delayed from August 18th to September 2nd and 3rd, which turned out to be true, but only for the townhomes.
We moved into the Cloisters on September 2nd, which was this last Saturday, and it was amazing. We were all so excited to move in, get it all done finally after the long wait.
But now my move-in is expected to be September 9th.
Then the apartments were delayed again, this time until September 15th, nearly a whole month after their lease started. Living in a hotel room for this long has not been easy.
I don't feel like I'm at school. I feel like I'm kind of on vacation. Having like just one room kind of reminds me of like my dorm room. Like, oh, I have to do everything in here.
Thankfully, Landmark Properties, the company that owns the Cloisters, are giving their residents $50 a day for food, paying for their hotel fees, and giving them laundry money. Finally, I wanted to find out what was causing these pushbacks, so I asked, and Landmark emailed us back saying the change in dates was caused by unexpected delays. I then asked if we could talk about this on camera and was told they don't have a spokesperson. But then I managed to get this email sent to residents which says they have encountered specific issues with the county's sewer approval process, so they didn't get the certificate of occupancy.
Many might think recycling is easy, but in reality, because of all the rules and regulations of what you can and can't recycle and where, it is actually quite hard. That's why towns in South Florida host recycling events. Harvey Duplock attended one of them.
It's not every day that cars are lining up waiting to get to City Hall, but on Saturday, November 4th, residents of the Miami suburb of Palmetto Bay did just that in the name of recycling. The e-waste recycling drive-thru allows residents to get rid of items that cannot be recycled in a regular place, such as batteries, old electronics, paint, and even clothing. This was the third recycling drive-thru for the village and was organized by UM graduate and Palmetto Bay Resiliency Coordinator Andrea Candelaria.
I think it's extremely important, not only environmentally wise, that it doesn't end up in a landfill and it affects our drinking water eventually. A lot of these things that we offer for these services, they don't belong in a landfill.
The event had 4 different stations, one for clothes donations, another for paint and aerosol cans, a third for electronics, batteries and light bulbs, and finally an area to shred any sensitive documents. But without events like this, recycling these materials is not that simple.
So it's definitely much more difficult for them to do that. The responsibility is on them to figure out where and how they need to drop off those items.
And that's why events like these are not only important, but they're popular.
The event has become so popular that we've gone from one time a year to twice a year recycling events.
The next event will take place in early 2024. Reporting for UMTV, I'm Harvey Duplock.